Sheilas and fellas, did we just get the deal of the century? 6 years ago, the best looking graphics card ever made was released by Nvidia for $499. I am talking about the one and only RTX 2070 Super Founders Edition. Look at it, all shiny and chrome with its 8GB of VRAM. We got our hands on this baby for 100 United States hamburgers from a lovely young gentleman on Facebook Marketplace who said it had been sitting in a box for 2 years. It's a bit dusty, it's a tiny bit shorter than Frank, but a lot sexier, and even comes with ARGB as the RTX logo lights up green, mate. Good gosh, I'm gonna have to change my pants after this video. And today, it's going to be challenging one of Jensen and Nvidia's 2025 monstrosities in a head-to-head battle, the RTX 5070. Yes, I know, you all hate it, but prices are coming down, and we got this baby refurbished off Newegg for a cool $489, so 61 buccarinos under MSRP. Not bad at all, Hank, not bad. Here is a list of their architecture for all you nerds out there. You can see that in the 6 years since the 2070 Super came out, they shoved a whole heap of CUDA cores into the 5070, but mate, 12GB of GDDR7 versus 8GB of GDDR6. Come on, mate, this thing should have at least 16GB. Thanks, Jensen, you greedy bugger. Now, realistically, the RTX 5070 will crush this RTX 2070 Super due to its 6-year age gap, but to give it a fighting chance today, we will be comparing raw rasterization of the 2070 Super at 1080p versus the 5070 at 1440p. This will ultimately allow us to see whether it's worth paying an extra $400 for the 5070 versus an unbelievable $100 price point for one of the GOATs of GPU history. But before these GPUs go to war, we are going to have to build a PC, and today we have decided to go back to the Stone Ages and build with the one and only AM4. Yes! Starting with the motherboard here, we got this B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi used off eBay for 79 United States clamshells, which is great. They have it new on Amazon for 107 American turkey breasts or used for $89, which also isn't terrible, but the board is quite average. It does come with a USB-C header, average VRMs, a very average rear I/O with no USB-C, so it's not winning Mrs. Universe at the 2025 motherboard pageant, but it'll get the job done. Next up, the CPU, and Hank is excited about this one because he has never used this baby before, the Ryzen 7 5800 XT. Nice. Open box from Micro Center for $103, down from a disgusting $149 dues. Not bad at all for 8 cores and 16 threads of pure AM4 power, and plus it comes with the actual stock cooler that has ARGB. Hank has also never used this stock cooler, so best believe we are throwing this bad boy on, even though it is black and we are going with a white build, so we'll have to see if we want to stick with that. Now, we did get lucky on this deal thanks to it being open box, but the savings on these AM4 CPUs just aren't what they used to be. Back in 2024, you could go on AliExpress and get a Ryzen 3600 for $50, a 5700X for $80 to $100, and a goddamn 5070 X3D for $130 any day of the week, but those days are gone, mate. The 5700 X3D sells for $300 now. Who is paying that? Meanwhile, you can go on Newegg right now and get an AM5 CPU like the Ryzen 7500F for $140. If you are lucky enough to live close to a Micro Center, they currently have the Ryzen 7600X for $140, and the 9600X is constantly going on and off sales from $150 to $160 spankers. Moving on to by far the worst possible feature of building with AM4, and it is trying to find cheap DDR4 RAM as it's currently on its way out the door. And don't get me wrong, DDR5 prices are insanely bad right now, but this 32GB kit of DDR4 RAM clocked at 3,200 mega transfers per second cost us $44 back in the good old days just 6 months ago. But these days, I am not seeing any brand new DDR4 RAM kits on Amazon for a reasonable price, and this same kit will run you $94 brand new. What the helly berry? It just isn't worth it anymore to build with DDR4 RAM. Hopefully when RAM prices come down on DDR5, they will be back to around $80 to $100 price points. So in the meantime, look on the used market and just ride it out. To give you some hope, we did just get a ton of these DDR5 kits 3 weeks ago off Amazon with CL30 timings for $84. So if you see a good deal, just grab as many as you can and stash them like gold, as it's going to be a very long winter for PC flippers like Hank. Finally, we move on to the M.2 when we scored an unbelievable deal on these Samsung 1TB drives. A few weeks ago, Amazon was having a sale on all open box items, and these drives were 35% off. So we bought them in bulk. We got 5 of these 1TB drives, and after everything was said and done, we paid paid a total of $45 per drive. Unbelievable, right? Well, check this out. Maybe it was too good to be true. A nice person in my comments let me know they jumped on this deal and got sent a fake M.2, so we checked all of ours, and look at this thing. It's clearly different to the real Samsung 1TB drive. We plugged it in, and yep, it had like 200 gigabytes of storage. Lucky Amazon has a good return policy, but anything open box, always check to make sure it's legit. It's the Wild West out here for PC flippers and builders. Last but not least, we need to cool this bad boy. We are using this MX6 paste, 8 grams for $10 off Amazon. Link is down below, and it'll keep the CPU chillier than a Victor Wembanyama Step Back 3. To cool this thing, we are just throwing on the stock cooler just because we've never used it before. Yes, it is big and bulky. Yes, you can't change the color of the RGB, but like we always say, you pay pennies, you get monkeys, mate. And well, we didn't pay anything for this, so we've got literal poop. It just clips on like so, and Jojo Siwa is your sister. We are good to go. Time to introduce the case, and as you can see, Hank is like Thanos, but instead of Infinity Stones, he just keeps accumulating more toys. Last week in the comments, I asked you to go name the snake, and the comment with the most like would be his name moving forward, and there was some good suggestions. Shank, Tank, Spank, Paul, Mr. Pigeon. Obviously all goated, but the winner was Snuggles the Snake, mate. Congratulations, you just named a plush toy on a YouTube channel where a dude builds PCs with his wiener. Next up is the Costco Glizzy. He doesn't have a name, so comment down below what you think his name should be, and the comment with the most likes will be his name moving forward. Now let's get these losers out of the way and introduce this case, and as you can see, it's emptier than my dad's bedroom after he went to go get milk when I was 3 years old and never came back. What? Why'd you leave me, Daddy? The case is from Asia Horse. It's a micro ATX case, and it was $180. You
cannot be serious!
I am joking, obviously. I don't know what has happened since we bought this case. We got it like 6 months ago for $89, thinking it came with fans, but obviously we were scammed. It came with nothing. But don't worry, a quick snap of the fingers and boom, baby, infinity! And today we are going to be nice to Frank. No more body slams, just nice little pets on the head. But next week, we are coming for you, Glizzy. We've thrown in 9 fans in total. The link for these fans are down below, $5 a pop. We put in 5 reverse blade fans down the bottom and on the right here to bring air into the case, and then forward blade fans for the exhaust out the back and up the top. Moving to the front I/O of this case, you have 2 USB 3s, a USB-C, and also a button for changing LED colors, but no ARGB hub. You have to provide your own. Here is the cable for all the fans once they're hooked up. It's insane, right? And if you think it's going to look better after we build this thing, absolutely not, mate. The Glizzy is the worst cable manager on YouTube. Oh, yeah. Here is the ARGB hub. It's a generic one we purchased off Amazon for like $10. The link is down below. It's great. Hundreds of different colors that you can cycle through. It comes with a remote and it is magnetic, so it can stick anywhere on the case as well. Well worth the investment. But should you buy this fanless case, especially now that it's $180? Absolutely not, mate. Asia Horse is having a laugh. If you want a similar style case, go with the Sama 2851 for $82 or the DIY PC N3 for $78 off Newegg. Both come with 4 Infinity fans and an ARGB hub, and they are so much cheaper. There is links down below to where we have built with both of these cases in the past, and they turned out great. Now pop your IO shield in the back and yeet the motherboard into the case with no regard for human life, like LeBron James dunking it. Screw it in, and Jack Doherty is your son. You are good to go. Moving on to the PSU, and of course we are going with the good old reliable Apivia Prestige 800 watt 80 plus gold TSE on the PSU tiers list. Nah, mate, not this time. We finally have a bit of variety on this channel. We found this 750 watt Cooler Master 80 plus gold fully modular power supply tier B on the PSU tiers list. Yes, you heard me right. You can finally stop complaining in the comments for using the Apivia power supply for now. And we got this bad boy on sale with the coupon for $52 brand new after tax on Amazon. What a time to be alive, and crazy value on this thing. Great job, Glizzy. And now everything is ready to go. The gang is here, and look how beautiful the 2070 Super is. We love the chrome aesthetic. Let me know down below if you agree that it's the best looking card ever, or if there is something else out there that destroys its aesthetics. As always, we are going to get 2 firm handshakes from Lord Hank, and then we are throwing this card into the top PCIe slot. One last look at our favorite card ever. Almost an accidental face reveal due to the beautiful chrome, and then in she goes.
I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon. I am a surgeon. Dr. Hahn, I am a surgeon.
And that is too easy, mate, even with one hand. For the PCIe connectors, we have gone with these generic white cable extensions from Amazon to match the white aesthetic and offset the black motherboard and cooler. The link is down below. And now that everything is hooked up and ready to go, Hank, is there anything you'd like to add? And do not just sit there silently showing off your good looks. God, this dude is beauty personified. Incredible. Let's give some quick little pets for the best PC builder ever, and then let's turn this baby on. It is time for everyone's favorite part of PC building, turning it on for the first time. I think it looks great. The card looks amazing in the case, and the black cooler and motherboard offsets the white nicely. As always, our cable management is awful, but Hank has no thumbs. What do you want him to do? Let's get 2 more handshakes from this furry fella and turn this baby on. OMG, ladies and gentlemen, this thing is looking incredible. The RTX logo is lit up green like the 9 Infinity fans, while the cooler goes green for a tiny bit before cycling to other colors, and I am in love. The case looks great. Shame it's $180. What the hell, LeBron James? Who would pay that? Setting the fans to ARGB puke, and it looks good, but throwing it to the side, and this is the money shot. It looks out of this world, but mate, my favorite color of all with all white PCs is having the fans whited out. God damn, this is looking like a Penn State game. I am actually really happy with how this build turned out. It's a shame the cooler isn't addressable RGB, but for $0, I don't deserve an opinion on this. What I am not happy about is the price. While we got this GPU for a bargain in my opinion, overall due to the high price of the case and all the extra fans we had to add, we paid a total of $566, which don't get me wrong, isn't awful, but mate, we could have easily had this in the $400 price point if we purchased the case for a reasonable price point and it actually came with fans. But if my mum had balls, she'd be my dad, so what can you do? Before we move on to the benchmarks, this is what the PC looks like with the RTX 5070 inside of it. Not bad, but not nearly as good looking as the historic 2070 Super. This PNY edition does have ARGB, and it is a nice 3-fan design, and for $489 is a great price for this particular card. But what if I told you price to performance wise, the $100 6-year-old dusty GPU is better? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get to it. As promised, it's time to show you that even a wiener can dominate with this $100 RTX 2070 Super in 2025 with no frame generation or upscaling, and while using the GPU to record this footage. We start off with his favorite game, Rainbow Six. Now yes, I am aware that this game can run on a potato, but still, Hank gets placed into a team full of duds and is eliminated by his own teammate in the first round. Thanks, buddy. After this terrific teamwork, he is put into a 1-on-5 situation in the second round. But just watch the GOAT in action using a $100 7-year-old RTX 2070 Super.
Op 4, last stop standing.
Hold it.
Insane stuff, Glizzy. This dude cannot be stopped, and he literally does not have thumbs. What are his teammates doing? The game was set to very high settings at 1080p, no upscaling, and averaged a crazy 235 frames per second when tested on the in-game benchmark. So the real question is, can this 7-year-old 2070 Super beat the 2025 RTX 5070, which costs 400 buckaroonies more if we set it to the same graphics but at 1440p? No, it can't, unfortunately. It puts up a valiant effort, but falls just short, with the RTX 5070 clocking in at 255 frames per second. So not bad for a 7-year-old GPU, mate, not bad at all. Next up, Marvel Rivals, 1080p medium settings, no frame generation or upscaling, and no problem, mate. Now, when I say the frames per second out loud, it doesn't sound great. It had an average of 76 with 1% lows of 55, but it actually felt great and very smooth, and as always, Hank was taking souls. The stock cooler did surprisingly well, keeping the Ryzen 5800 XT under 70 degrees after about 4 hours of gameplay, which is great. Meanwhile, the dusty 7-year-old RTX 2070 Super's cooling system kept it at around 71 degrees, so good job all round. And the Glizzy did not mess around in this game, mate. 30 eliminations and the MVP with his waifu Wanda, all for $100, or if you count the entire price of the PC, $500, mate. Now, in saying that, the whole PC costs the same as the RTX 5070 by itself, so surely if we throw the GPU in, it can at least run double the speed of the 2070 at 1440p with the same median graphics settings and no upscaling, right?
Nope.
Wrong. It was close though. 133 frames per second with 1% lows of 87, so yes, it was a lot better, but $500 versus $100, mate? Give the RTX 2070 Super a break. Now, can this RTX 2070 Super be used for sim racing? Well, let's see. Formula 125, 1080p, medium settings, no upscaling or frame generation, and of course, no ray tracing, mate. Even though this GPU has an RTX written on it, ray tracing back then was awful. We have chosen to be our doppelganger Charles Leclerc. The only difference is he is 50 times sexier than us, 500,000 times richer than us, but he is a manlet, where I am a 6'5", 225-pound man of pure muscle. His dog Leo, on the other hand, is 50 times sexier than Hank with his golden fur, 500,000 times richer, but Hank is the best PC building dog that ever lived, so let us know down below in the comments who is better, me and Hank or Charles Leclerc and Leo. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Formula 125 on the RTX 2070 Super. It ran great, average frame rates of 134 frames per second, but not quite good as the RTX 5070 at the same graphic settings but at 1440p. This was able to run at 175 frames per second, so a pretty big jump with this $500 GPU. Time for our favorite game by far at the moment, Battlefield 6. This came out a few weeks ago, so I thought it might be a bit of a challenge for the 2070 Super, but we min-maxed everything to get the best frame rate without using upscaling, so low graphics, and it felt very good. Average frame rate of just over 80 with 1% lows of 61, so it was really smooth. It's definitely not world-beating, but you can see Hank was dominating, doing whatever he wanted to do. He was getting cheeky sniper shots, reviving people, and even playing the objective, mate. What a time to be alive if you're a dachshund. But what about the RTX 5070? Same settings, but set to 1440p, and it's a lot better, mate. Actually, it's not even close. Averages of 121 frames per second, 1% lows of 98. Oh man, I thought this was going to be a lot closer, but maybe the 5070 isn't a bad card after all. I mean, look at some of these sniper shots Hank was getting at 1440p with this thing. Crazy stuff, Glizzy. Moving on to Call of Duty Warzone, and this was also not close at all. We set it to balance, no upscaling, and no problem at 1080p for the 2070 Super. 76 frames per second, 1% lows of 59. It felt fine. It was playable. And if you put on DLSS, it would run in the hundreds, so it's not the end of the world. But the RTX 5070 with the same settings, but at 1440p, absolutely crushes it, mate. 170 frames per second, 1% lows in the 140s. Smoother than a buttery bagel from Bagels on 47th Street in Manhattan, mate.
What?
Yes, the 5070 may be double the frame rate here, but I still love the 2070 Super. Moving on to another one of Hank's favorite game, the finals. It ran very well at 1080p medium settings, no upscaling or ray tracing. We were well over 80 frames per second with great 1% lows in the 60s, so it was very smooth and looked good, and it was very playable. But once again, chucking in the RTX 5070 at 1440p with the same graphics definitely turned things up a notch. 124 frames per second, 1% lows of 102, and it was so good that we were a team of 2 and still beat 2 teams of 3 to get that victory, mate. And I totally didn't get carried or anything. I did a lot in this game, right?
Liar!
Fine, let's look at some single-player games instead, starting with the 10-year-old classic GTA 5, but the enhanced edition at very high settings with no ray tracing and no upscaling, and I am happy to say that finally the RTX 2070 Super at 1080p was competing with the RTX 5070 at 1440p. Both of these games looked great and were around 160 frames per second with 1% lows in the 130s, so if you're looking for the best bang for buck GTA 5 PC, this RTX 2070 Super AM4 Beast is the answer. answer, baby. Finishing off with a more recent and much harder to run game, Cyberpunk 2077, medium settings, of course no ray tracing, no upscaling, and no problem for the RTX 2070 Super at 1080p. Average frame rate of 96 frames per second with 1% lows in the 80s. Pretty good, right? Well, relatively, maybe not that good. The RTX 5070 at the same settings but at 1440p bodies the 2070 Super badly. Averages of 140 frames per second with 1% lows of 118, mate. So in conclusion, is the RTX 2070 Super a good card to purchase in 2025 for $100? Absolutely, mate. It played every game very well with no upscaling at 1080p. Now, if you're not a sweaty virgin PC elitist and you actually wanted to use upscaling, it would make it even better. So if you're looking to ball on a budget, it's a very good card, but is it better value than the 5070 at $500? Technically, because it can play every game at 1080p, but if you want to play at 1440p, the RTX 5070 is very good, and we have done a video previously showing you how we were able to build a 5070 AM5 PC for $1,000, so go check that out if you're looking for a 1440p rig. Now get out of here, mate. Me and the weenie love ya. Goodbye.